Hey y'all, this is John Trent from Bounding Into Comics, and I've got some Star Wars news for you today, and it's not looking pretty. Disney just recently released their Q3 earnings report on top of their Q3 earnings call, and none of it looks good for Star Wars. On the investors call, Disney CEO Bob Iger and Chief Financial Officer Christine McCarthy admitted Star Wars Galaxy's Edge had lower attendance than they expected at Disneyland. However, so for those who don't know what Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is, it's the newest kind of attraction that they have at Disneyland, and will also be opening up at Disney World later this year. But currently, it's just opened at Disneyland right now. However, Iger and McCarthy were quick to offer some talking points about just what they think could be the reason why the attendance is down. And they didn't have just one reason; they had a myriad of reasons, but none of them had to do with their actual creative talent or the actual story that they're trying to sell you, or Star Wars brand in general. Iger pointed to the expectation of larger crowds keeping people away. I don't really buy that. It's Disney. Aren't there always going to be large crowds? That just doesn't make sense at all. This seems like a bogus PR talking point. He would next point to an increase in prices not only at Disneyland but in the surrounding areas, including the hotels where people would usually stay at in and around the Anaheim area where Disneyland is located. This one actually kind of makes sense. People might not be willing to pay the extra increase. CNN reported earlier this year that the one-day adult peak ticket is now $149, up from $135. The one-day regular ticket rose from $117 to $129. And the one-day value ticket increased from $97 to $104. Even the annual select pass increased from $369 to $399. So it's possible those increases might have kept people away. I'm not fully convinced on that either. Those seem to be kind of like somewhat marginal increases, and I don't think real hardcore Disney fans and people who want to go to Disneyland would really. That's a couple dollars for a ticket isn't going to keep them away. And then kind of the last reason that Iger gave was that Galaxy's Edge only has one attraction open, and he said that people might have delayed their trips to Disneyland because they only have one attraction. They're waiting for the second attraction to open. Rise of the Resistance is supposed to come out, I think, in January. I believe is where they're on track to now. So people might be delaying their trips to Anaheim and Disneyland because they're waiting for Rise of the Resistance to open in about 5 months, I think. Those talking points that Iger would have on the investors call would, interestingly enough, be echoed by an alleged anonymous employee who told Fox Business that due to the lack of people attending Galaxy's Edge, Disneyland employees are seeing their hours cut. And the employee told Fox Business that wait times for the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which is the premier attraction at Galaxy's Edge, are half or even less what they were expected to be. The employee indicated the expected wait time was going to be over 2 hours long, but they're half or even less. So that means wait time's an hour or less, which, I mean, if you want to go check that ride out, sounds like now might be a good time because no one else is going to check it out. The employee would then echo all of Iger's reasons on why they believe people aren't showing up for Galaxy's Edge. However, one of the things they did point to that was a little bit different from Iger was they believe the park took too long to build, and thus Disney rushed it out with only one cool feature. Again, echoing that Iger saying he only had they only had the one attraction with Smuggler's Run. So it's not looking good on the park side with Disneyland opening Galaxy's Edge, despite having a lot of guest celebrities like Brie Larson there. Things aren't going well on the merchandise end either. Hidden in Disney's 2019 report is the fact that Disney admitted they saw, quote, a decrease from Star Wars merchandise. For anyone who has been following Star Wars since the release of The Last Jedi, this shouldn't come as a surprise. The Hollywood Reporter noted back in December 2016 that Star Wars toys were down 47% from the 7 months leading to Rogue One in 2016 and off 56% from the same time period ahead of The Force Awakens. Not only that, but Star Wars used to be the #1 property in both 2015 and 2016. In 2017, it was beat by both Nerf and Pokemon. In 2018, the Jedi Temple Archives reports that Star Wars was no longer in the top 5 performing toy lines in the United States and Europe. So the caveat is that it could still be performing at the same level. There's just other people that are performing better than it. My guess is that that's not the case, and that the merchandise is actually has declined. And it's not just the parks and merchandising, it's the films too. In Disney's Q3 report, they actually admit that Solo, a Star Wars story, was a stinker. Woo! I can smell it from here. Here's the quote, the increase in theatrical distribution results was due to the performance of Avengers Endgame, Aladdin, Captain Marvel, and Toy Story 4 in the current quarter compared to Avengers Infinity War, Incredibles 2, Black Panther, and Solo, a Star Wars story in the prior year quarter, end quote. So let me give you some perspective on that. Avengers Endgame earned $2.7 billion worldwide. Aladdin made just over $1 billion. Captain Marvel made $1.1 billion. And Toy Story 4 made just shy of $1 billion with $990 million. Now Infinity War made over $2 billion. Incredibles 2 made $1.2 billion. Black Panther made $1.3 billion. And Solo made only $392.9 million. One of those does not look like the rest, and it's Solo. And just as a final point, Ichi Baka at Disney Star Wars is Dumb noted that there is little to no interest in The Rise of Skywalker compared to The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi based off of Google Trends. You can see that The Rise of Skywalker is pretty much flat, where there's like a couple peaks with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. That's just not the case with The Rise of Skywalker. No one seems to be significantly interested in it. Star Wars is in a bad spot, and it can all be traced back to Rian Johnson's Last Jedi. Disney needs some of their own magic in order to course correct what looks to be a sinking ship. And what do you think about the Star Wars brand? Do you think it can be saved with who Disney has in charge right now? Do you think anyone can save the Star Wars brand at Disney? Let me know what you think by dropping a comment below. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding Into Comics.